guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Alex from Alex's Innovations, and today I'm going to be showing you how to freestyle a bracelet. This technique isn't really so much of following the pattern, it's more of sort of developing your creative sense and sort of applying that into creating a bracelet. So like I said, I'm not going to be using a pattern, so I'm just sort of going to be walking you through my thought process for what goes into improvising a bracelet. I will be freestyling this, of course, so I don't have a pattern, but I recommend that you do know how to make basic knots first because that's really important, and that you know how to start and end a bracelet. So the links for both of those videos are in the description, but to start out, I am choosing 7 colors because I think 14 strings wide is a good width. It's the width of this bracelet right here, which I really like, so I'm going to be using 7 colors. Here are the ones I chose. You can choose any colors that you like. I do recommend that they are somewhat different from each other, so try not to have too much of a gradient going on, but instead more of discrete colors. And I've chosen colors that I think are different enough so that I can kind of take each one and describe what's going on with that specific color. So I've cut 1 string of each color, and each one is about 2 meters long before folding in half. And here I've tied a little beginning loop at the top. I'm not really going to knot a beginning loop because this is sort of a thinner bracelet, but you can definitely do that if you want. Then I'm going to attach this. I've used this setup earlier and I like it a little bit, so I'll be using that today. And so I'm going to split my string into 2 symmetrical sections, and I'm going to try and do a geometric pattern with this bracelet. So that includes diamonds, zigzags, arrowheads, sort of things like that, maybe stripes. Really, I have no real vision of what's going on, so I think I'm just going to be inventing it as I go, and I'll sort of explain that process. But I do want it to look aesthetically pleasing, so I am going to start it with a symmetrical shaped start. So to start, I'm going to just start on this left side, and I'm going to go in this rainbow order. They're not really the colors of the rainbow, but it's in a generally rainbow order. So I have like red, orange, yellow, all these greens, and then a blue. So I'm going to start with the red, so I'm going to bring the red string from the left into the center, and then I'm going to do a backward forward knot. And I'm going to bring that string into the center, like that. Then I'm going to bring the orange thread into the center again, and do the same thing, do a backward forward knot. I'm going to repeat this with the yellow, so bring it to the center, and then do a backward forward knot. Then again with a light green, so in the center, and a backward forward knot. Then with the middle green, and finally with the dark green. And you can use whatever colors you want for this. I think if I were watching, it'd be easier if I did the colors shown, just so when I say like the dark green string, you know what I'm talking about, but you can do this with whatever colors you want. And then for the other side, I'm going to mirror the symmetry. So first we have the red string, so I'm going to take the red string, bring that to the center, and then I'm going to do a forward backward knot this time, so that red string also ends up in the center. Then I'm going to grab the orange string and do another forward backward knot. Then with the yellow string, I'm going to do a forward backward knot. Then I'm going to repeat this with the light green string. Then again with the middle green string. And finally with the dark green string. Alright, and so now we have this setup. And throughout this process, I'm going to be looking at the types of shapes that we have, and then I'm going to think, how can I knot so I can take advantage of this shape? So this will make a little more sense as we go along. But first I see that we have this sort of downward opening V shape. So in my head, I'm thinking that's really cool. That reminds me of a diamond. So I might start off with a diamond. So to do a diamond, I mean, you would knot the 2 strings at the top. And then with the right string, you can do some double forward knots all the way down. Then I'm going to end with a forward backward knot. And then I'll repeat this on the other side. This bracelet doesn't have to be symmetrical, but I think I'm going to start it out symmetrical. So I'm just doing double backward knots now all the way down. I do recommend this is not the first bracelet you make by any means. I think it's a good idea to make similar bracelets, like normal patterns. I do have a tutorial for the gradient diamond bracelet, and that's the one that this is, so that one is a really good idea for just learning how to do this basic knot shape. So I'm just kind of copying that diamond pattern over here. And then I'm going to finish with a backward forward knot. Alright, next in the diamond, I'm just going to be continuing with the diamond pattern, so I'm going to take the two middle strings, which are now orange, and with the left one, I'll do a double forward knot over the right one. And then I'm going to do 3 double forward knots, so that's the number of strings that I'm going to be knotting over, minus the last one, because for the last one, we're going to be doing a forward backward knot. With that other orange string, we're going to be doing some double backward knots. And then finishing off with a backward forward knot. I don't really want this to be interpreted as like a tutorial because I'm not really showing you how to make a diamond, but I'm just sort of explaining like my steps within like the bigger ideas, I guess. So here I'm doing more double forward knots because I wanted to create a diamond pattern in the middle. My knots are really far apart today. I don't know why. Hopefully I can tighten that up later though. Alright, and I'll finish up the center of the diamond with 1 knot in the middle. And then I'm sort of thinking to myself what would look really good over here, and I think that I honestly am seeing a little bit of an arrowhead sort of thing going on. I'm thinking like a zigzag knot in the center to make a diamond, and then to form a zigzag pattern around that. So I'll explain what I mean. So we have this diamond, and then instead of bringing the orange strings down and around, I'm thinking to leave that yellow because I like how bright that yellow is. So I'm going to bring this orange string down, and then over this light green string I'm going to do a backward forward knot. So now the string is pointing back outwards. Then I'm going to do the same thing with this red. So 1 double backward knot, and then 1 backward forward knot. And then that just leaves the blue. So with the blue I'm going to do 1 backward forward knot. And then I want to continue this arrowhead pattern, so I'm going to take the red thread and do 1 double forward knot. And 1 double backward knot. And then again with the orange, 1 double forward knot. And 1 forward backward knot. And then with this yellow, maybe continuing, so do 1 double forward knot. And 1 forward backward knot. Now here, like I said earlier, I think it's a good idea to sort of look at the shape that your bracelet is creating. And right here, I see that I have a little bit of a straight line going on here between the edge of this yellow string and sort of inside. So basically, like these 4 strings are sort of creating a line that's bordered with a yellow string. So I'm going to take advantage of this. So I'm going to take the orange string, and now I'm going to follow that line. So that line consists of these 4 strings. So I'm going to do a double forward knot over the first 3. And then a forward backward knot. And so now this is straying into the I've never seen this before, but it looks cool. I mean, you might have seen this before, but I haven't. So now I'll just continue this following those lines with this red string. So I'll continue to do double forward knots. And then a forward backward knot. here I could sort of follow the traditional triangles pointing outwards, but something that's kind of, I don't know, calling out to me, I guess, is sort of doing a triangle. I don't even know the names for these anymore, but sort of like a striped triangle. So like with the blue, maybe do 3 double forward knots. Then with the green one, maybe 2 double forward knots so it can sort of stay aligned in that triangle pattern shape. And then 1 double forward knot with this light green. And so now we've created this triangle shape that I can take and go back on with this red string. So I'll do 3 double backward knots. And then maybe 1 backward forward knot. So now this definitely looks different than anything we were going for up here, because remember I started out like thinking, oh, I'm gonna do a diamond, and sort of just let my mind take me to where it wants to go. Another fun challenge, I guess, could be to sort of go rogue in the beginning, so sort of do what you want, and then maybe try and get the string symmetrical, because as you can notice, the strings aren't symmetrical now. We have a light green on this edge, while over here we have a dark blue. So that's, I don't want to say messed up, because it's not messed up. I mean, we did it because we thought it looked cool, but maybe sort of different, asymmetrical is probably the word. So now it's probably too early to try and go back on it, but we could try doing, I think over here, I like this line. I see this straight line. We have an orange, yellow, orange, red. I like that line, so maybe I'm gonna try and replicate that line again. So maybe I'll do a couple of rows of just that line. So here I'll take this yellow over here. And then over here I can create a line, like add to the line with this light green over the yellow. Then with this green over the orange. And then maybe with this dark green over the red. That's sort of creating a cool, I think that could look cool if we continue that pattern. So I'm gonna try that again. So going one more line, I have the blue here to the orange. Then we have the 2 yellows. Then maybe this orange over this green. And then maybe the red over the green. And then how about this blue over this green? So to avoid that candy stripe look, we're going to be switching the order of knotting. So like last row we went the left one over the right one, and then we went from the right one to the left one. Now you can just sort of switch, so I'm going to be knotting basically so that the original color is different than the final color. So I don't know, I'm really making things up at this point. But we could have this blue continue to come through because there's already 2 yellows in a row. Then there'd be, I guess, 2 oranges in a row. Okay, this really isn't how I intended it to turn out, but it's like a, I guess that's freestyle. It's sort of the point. Maybe I'll do one more row of this. Oh yeah, and then doing one more row that would align with this final red knot at the end. So that would allow us to start a new pattern. Alright, so now we have this semi-chaotic thing going on here, but it's okay because the back looks kind of cool, I think. So now we have this sort of linear thing, so that opens doors up for us. I don't know what I'd go with here, but maybe we could do something like a partial zigzag. So I could take this orange thread, go like that, and then like that. And so that would create this little opening for a zigzag that I could continue on with the yellow thread. And again, let me emphasize, like through the whole thing, like, I don't really expect you to like follow me, because then it wouldn't be like improvising. You'd basically be like doing what I'm improvising instead of what you're improvising, and this really, I guess it's like a creative exercise for yourself to help you. So like everyone watching this video, I'm hoping will have different bracelets at the end, because it's really, we're all thinking of different things. I mean, you might see a slope and think, oh, candy stripe pattern, and I might see a slope and think, oh, diamond pattern, and like we'll all see different things. And it's how we knot those things and what those different things lead to that's going to make each of our bracelets different. And I'm sort of switching up the colors again just to make it a little bit different than the previous section. And then I'll bring this light green thread back, so maybe we can have this regular section for a little bit. I've actually never done this section in a bracelet before. This has only been from pictures, which I think is kind of cool. But I mean, also a helpful thing might be to scroll through your Instagram to look for previous patterns you've done. Maybe scroll through other people's Instagrams, or maybe Bracelet Book if you don't have Instagram, and just sort of look at photos, look at patterns that people have made, and maybe try to think of those patterns and maybe incorporate pieces of them into your own pattern. Because I mean, I can't claim the diamond is an original pattern invented by me. That's not the thing. People have been making it, and no one person really invented it. But it's cool to sort of integrate that into your own unique bracelet. Alright, and I'm just going to continue with this zigzag pattern for a couple more repetitions, so we can have some length to our bracelet. So I was going to make my zigzag here, and I accidentally messed up, and instead of doing a forward backward knot, I just did a double forward knot, but that's okay. One of my goals in making this bracelet is to not undo any of my knots, so if I mess up, just kind of go with it, because it's not really messing up. I guess this could be said as a Bob Ross sort of tutorial, but you know, they're not mistakes, they're just happy accidents, and in this case, they don't even have to really be considered accidents, because I can just keep going. So if this yellow were to keep going, then I think I would just do a couple more double forward knots here. And I don't know if this would turn into another zigzag. I guess it is. Oh, okay, here we go. But yeah, I might just follow this with the red then, although I'm not really sure if that's something I want to do, or if it's something that I just want to continue knotting into oblivion, but like into a straight line instead of coming back for another zigzag. Also, I have to be conscious because knotting with all of these threads means that they're all getting shorter, while the ones that we're knotting over are staying the same. So in order to balance that out and not like run out of string prematurely, I'm just sort of gonna knot these out, and then maybe we can come up with like a new batch of strings, I guess, when we're done. So this thread I did a double forward knot, but at the edge for this yellow string I did a forward backward knot. So again, that's gonna change a little bit, who knows. I mean, it's a bracelet of improvising. There's no really end goal that we're achieving here. We're not really following any pattern. It's just sort of for ourselves. This is like a fun little experiment. So I'm just gonna keep going with this. I don't really know what's going on at this point, but that's okay. Dark green string, and I'm getting a little bit inspired because it is darker than most of the colors, and I'm thinking I might want to do a little bit of a border with this string. I actually have a tutorial on how to add a border to your bracelets, but that's with the bracelets with a pattern. But the principle is really simple. Basically, you take the outer string. Whenever you think you're done knotting the actual pattern, just take that outside string. Then if you're on the right side, do a backward forward knot, and if you're on the other side, just reverse that, so forward backward knot. And then that string ends up, so it's still on the side that it started with, and so now I would keep knotting with this string on the pattern. But I think I like that idea of adding a border right here, so I'm going to add a border for a few rows and see what happens, I guess. here, this green string is poking out a little bit more than the rest, and it's making me think of sort of knotting in that direction instead of in this direction. So I'm going to take the red string and instead sort of do like an opposite candy stripe motion, I guess. So sort of knotting downward and to the left instead of downward and to the right. And these are all double backward knots, by the way. Ooh, and here I'm knotting with an orange string, and over here has sort of a border of an orange string, which is making me think, what if I did a backward forward knot here, and then I tried and do something like a diamond shape over here, because that would look really cool, I think. My diamond is now turning into a rectangle, so that's okay. I'm gonna do a forward backward knot here, and maybe I'll take this dark blue string up top and maybe make a knot like that and continue knotting downward. Ooh, I made a mistake here, but that's okay. It didn't really align with the bracelet. Like if I kept going, the bracelet would sort of get messed up, but that's okay. I'm just sort of not undoing knots that occur, like doing the wrong type of knot, but over the right string. Alright, and then just finishing up this border, I think I'll take this orange string again and make a knot like that over the two strings that were in the middle of the rectangle, and then with that orange string up top, just sort of knotting down. And so hopefully you get an idea of the process that I'm going through. So it's very, very freestyle. There's absolutely no planning. Try not to get like too attached to the pattern you're working on, although it is nice if you can like coordinate a pattern for a couple of rows like I did over here. But I'll just be showing a time lapse, I guess, of me knotting. I'm actually going to be filming another video, so I was aiming to do a knot with me, so because people seem to like that one the last time I did it. So I'll be filming a knot with me with this bracelet, so I'll just be showing the time lapse, I guess, of that footage. And so you'll get to see a little bit more of my progress, and I'll show it to you when it's done. This is about it for my improvised bracelet. So as you can see, I didn't really stick to any one pattern, although I did go with sort of a mismatched chevron over here. But this is kind of how it turned out, and I really like it. I think it would be really cute if it was made with sort of colors that are indicative of the holiday season, to sort of be like an ugly sweater. I think that would look really cute. That's something you guys can try by yourself though. This is what the back looks like. But anyway, thank you so much for watching, and if you want to check out my Instagram, it's linked in the description, and also my Etsy. This bracelet will be available there if it isn't sold already. So thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Bye!